Alright, what's up guys? Today we're going to be doing a glute and hamstring focused leg workout. So I'm going to take you through some of my favorites, some of the compound exercises, give you a couple tips and tricks on how to do these to get the most out of every single exercise. So let's do it. Okay, so first thing, before we jump into our heavier exercises, I think it's extremely important to spend at least the first 10 to 20 minutes going through a proper mobility sequence and also maybe doing some glute activation exercises to really get the posterior chain firing. I think for a lot of people, they're very quad dominant because everything's in front of us. And so if you can do a few exercises, whether that's with some hip circle bands or even just some glute bridges like I'm about to show here, you're going to notice a tremendous difference in how well you're able to get your glutes and hamstrings activated and firing during some of these multi-muscular movements. So first up is the straight leg deadlift. Now keep in mind, this is a hip hinging movement. So you really want to make sure you keep those knees in a fixed position and you're thinking about pushing your butt towards the wall behind you. You also want to make sure you keep your spine neutral as well as keeping your arms locked so you're not bending your elbows at all. So you're basically allowing your body to become a lever, and as you come down, you should feel a good deep stretch in your hamstrings before bringing your hips forward and coming back to the top of the rep. All right, so next up are reverse lunges. And the reason why I like to do reverse lunges over traditional is because as you step back, it forces you to really drive through that front heel, which is where you're gonna get a lot of that glute and hamstring activation. And so I would just recommend, if you haven't done this exercise before, start with a lighter weight, make sure you're very controlled and stabilized before increasing the weight. Really focus on driving through that heel in your front foot as you come back up, because like I said, that's where a lot of that glute activation is gonna come from. Next up are sumo squats. So this is gonna be a little bit different from a traditional barbell squat. Mainly, you're gonna have a much wider stance. Your toes are gonna be pointed slightly more outwards. And as you come down, your knees are not gonna be tracking over your toes as much as they would over with a traditional barbell squat. So you're just really gonna be breaking at the hips, sitting back into it and getting as deep as you can before coming up. And you're gonna get a really, really good stretch in both your glutes and hamstrings. And this one burns, so here we go. Last but not least, we're finishing up with some good morning. So this is another hip hinging movement, similar to the straight leg deadlift. However, it is going to be backloaded like you are doing a squat. But the most important thing is to make sure you're hinging at the hips and keeping your spine neutral, not arching your lower back at all, because that's where you're gonna run into problems. You're gonna start feeling a little bit of pain in your lower back. So highly recommend starting light, especially since this is the last exercise of the workout. Make sure your form's good, make sure you're getting a good stretch in the hamstrings, and then gradually work your weight up after that.